Welcome to Ask GMBN, the weekly show where we answer all your mountain bike questions that we receive in the comment section below our videos through the hashtag askgmbn.com and on email at ask@gmbn.com. So let's get into it with this week's first question from Domicius Vinicius, who says, I'm planning to buy a new bike, which is great news. Should I buy a hardtail or a full sus? I like going off-road and downhill, but I'm not an extremal. I guess by extremal you mean you don't go too crazy. I would suggest buying the best bike you can afford in your budget. But your next question does go on to say that you'd like to fit a dual crown fork, which makes me think that you are looking at some more extreme riding, some jumps and maybe some tougher trails. So maybe go with the most cost-effective choice you've got in the full sus range, because you can have a lot of fun out of that bike and lots of range of what you can try. So that'll be my suggestion. Hope it helps and look forward to hearing what you get. Next question is from Andrew Cook. Do you guys have any tips on reducing wind noise on POV videos? Well, one thing you can do is think about where you're positioning the camera, because if you put the camera on top of your helmet, it's going to be very exposed and you get lots of wind noise. Whereas if you put the camera on your chest mount, it's going to be in your riding cockpit and a little bit more protected. Your other option would be to fit an external mic that you could put a windsock on and protect that. So those are your options really. Wind noise can be a tricky one to get away with, especially if you're going very, very quick, which is what we want to see. Other thing you could possibly do is not worry about that audio too much and put a great soundtrack over your video once you've taken it through the edit suite. So if you do that, make sure you send us the video so we can take a look. Jude Hatton Holland says, hi guys, are there any mountain bikers on Strava? Well, yes, there is. And your question is followed up for us in the comment section by MTB, who says, apparently they are, but I can't understand how. Well, why don't we take a look at our 5 ways to find new mountain bike trails video that Mark and Neil did a few months back, where they took a look at Strava and how you can use it.
Apps like Strava and Garmin Connect are route mapping tools that people use to map exactly where they've been riding. So you can use those to actually have a look, search the areas you want to ride, and the busiest segments are often the best riding spots.
Next question coming in from Flynn Watson says, hi guys, how do I set up my enduro bike for an urban downhill? Now, what I want to say here is there's a common mistake to think about how you're setting up a bike for a different type of race. What you should be thinking about is how you're setting up your bike for each individual day you're riding. So an urban downhill won't necessarily have a different setup to an enduro, because what are you basing enduro on? Basically, that could be any terrain of any kind. So the best thing you can do when you're going to a race is look at the course, think about those obstacles that you're hitting and how they relate to what you ride usually. And then if it's more extreme, then you need to start setting up the bike for a more extreme terrain. So don't think urban, don't think enduro, think about the course itself. Next question from Toshiba86. I greased every part of my mountain bike, but that damn annoying squeak just keeps on happening. How do I find it? Well, there could be things like hairline fractures in your frame, or maybe something really simple like your seat post. That's a really common one. A lot of people can't find a creak on their bike because they're looking at all the moving parts and the things they're pulling and pushing, and all they needed to do was just put a tiny little bit of grease on their seat post and voila, it's gone. So maybe try that one. That's caught me out a few times. Other option, if you can't find it at all, is just spray a tiny little bit of WD on things like your handlebar stem mounting and the seat post itself, just to see if it goes away for a short period of time, and then you know you found your culprit. Good luck finding it. It can be annoying when you can't find that one little creak that's making your bike feel not quite as smooth as it should. Noah S says, is Kashima coating on forks and rear suspension worth the cost? Yeah, it is. It's an easy answer. It makes your shock much more fluid, and it also looks really great. I love a Kashima coating on a fork and a shock, so I would always say it's worth the cost. Jojo La Pompa says, can you damage your fork if you bottom out too often? I ride an XC bike with 80mm of travel with correct sag adjustment, but the terrain here in the southeast of France can be a bit rocky. Well, yeah, obviously if you're bottoming out like all the time, it is going to have more wear and tear on your fork than normal. But forks are designed to be very robust these days, so maybe try putting a little bit more air into your fork and seeing if that affects it, and maybe you just need to start looking at longer travel bikes. You might just be going a bit too extreme for that travel distance. Could be it, could be too good. Tyler Evans, can you guys make a video on how to make a rear mudguard? Well, I'm sure we can. This one sounds like a mechanical video for Scotty, so it's a great suggestion. Let's just take a look at his skills on how he made a mudguard recently in the workshop and see if we can put him to the test with your new idea for a rear one.
Now, you guys will all know from watching the videos on GMBN, we absolutely love a hack, and nothing beats a free one. And in this video, we're going to show you how to make a mudguard. This template that I'm drawing out will be in the description down below, and all you're going to need for it is a 2-litre bottle.
Great questions this week. Next one is from Aidan Thomas. Why do you guys wear baggies? I've worn spandex and baggies, and spandex is more comfy. Okay, by spandex, I guess you mean lycra, XC. Well, you'd be wearing XC because you want to go fast, it's lightweight, streamlined. You'll be wearing baggies because you want to get pads underneath, you want to have a bit more freedom in your movement because you're doing maybe more enduro riding. I like baggies because I think they look cool. I know that Blake has just bought some lycra because he's going to be doing some road riding and he can't wait to put it on. So at the end of the day, you've answered the question because you're most comfy in lycra. So whatever works for you. But I'm a baggies man, gotta be honest. Although there is a video out there with me wearing some lycra, I believe. But anyway, next video question is from Daniel Gregerson, who says, is changing the head tube angle from 68 to 66 just enough or too little? Well, it's a really hard question to answer because I don't know what bike you're talking about. Let's say that you're thinking about riding a slightly more relaxed head angle because you want to ride trails with a more modern geometry. What I can tell you is going from 68 to 66, you're going to notice a big difference, whatever you're using it for, or if you're looking between two different bikes with that much difference. It doesn't sound a lot, but the bike will perform in corners really, really differently, and definitely take the terrain on in a different way with just that small adjustment in the head angle. So try the two bikes that you're thinking about, or if you've got a bike that's got a headset that is adjustable and you can try different angles, then play with it because you are going to notice a big difference, even on just 2 degrees. James Walters is asking, have you heard of riders using different wheel sizes on the same bike? Could you explore this idea? I haven't heard of any riders using different wheel sizes front and back on a bike that hasn't been designed for it. Back in the day, there was a specialised freeride bike that did have a 24-inch rear wheel and a 26-inch front wheel. I know that Specialized dropped that idea, so I don't know if it's because it didn't work or it didn't look cool or people didn't really buy into the idea, but haven't heard of any top pros or anything experiment with different wheel sizes on the same bikes. Interesting, and maybe it's something we should look at. Could be a bit of fun, especially playing with 27.5 and 29s. So yes, nice idea. Ollie Hall BMX, how do you become a pro and get sponsored for mountain biking? Well, it's a question we get asked a lot, and this is a great opportunity to throw to a video where we did an Ask the Pros, how do you get sponsored? So let's take a look.
It wasn't in my plan to become a pro, to ride as a job, but just help me to find a way to ride for cheaper, and then for free, and then for money, so step by step.
Right, quick fire round. Time to get helmeted up because this bit can be dangerous. Okay, first question is Thomas Quisto says, when is Neil going to drop his own edit, like a Ride Your Fat Bike film? That's a great idea, soon I hope. Cecia says, are you going to Saalbach this year and are you going to visit the nearby glacier of Kirchenhorn? Mike, are we going to Saalbach?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Spider Kid 200, what is the hardest trick that you guys can do? And this question is for Blake. He's specifying, right, Blake's best trick is probably a flip whip, back flip with a tail whip in it. He's pretty good at those. Zygmunt Martian says, is a fat bike considered a mountain bike? Yes, that is a rude question, Sigmund. I can't believe you've asked it. Breno Ferreira says, can you guys make a video of fails and bells only with you in it? Yes, we fall off a lot. We could do that easily. The Bike Show says, what happened to all of Scotty's bikes? Well, Presenters Bikes, we're lucky to be supported by some great brand partners. They like to keep us up to date on the new models. When we finished with the bikes, they go back to them. So we get to ride some great bikes thanks to the brands that support us. Mike Jeskin says, is it okay to have my seat in the middle position so it isn't impossible to pedal uphill and I have it out of the way on the descents? Yes, it's okay, but what I would say to you is drop a post. Try it, it will change your life. Jeffrey Irvin, what shoes does Neil have and how much do they cost? I've never bought Neil any shoes, but I do know that he's just got a new pair of Northwaves, which he loves. So I think it might be those you're talking about. Northwaves, check them out. Joshua Fresnoza says, what are the pros and cons of 29ers? Man, Joshua, that is not a quick fire question. Time for Correct Me If I'm Wrong. Love this bit, seeing some videos of you guys riding. We're starting with this one from Cameron Anderson, who is in Ocean Grove in Australia, doing some 360s out on a skate park, which is really cool. Let's just take a quick look. He's asking, this is his first 360, and what is he doing wrong? Well, he's coming into it lovely. He's got great spin. It all looks good. He's gonna get 360. Oh, 270. Well, you know what, Cameron? It looks great, actually. The one thing I would say is you start off the spin really great, looking over your shoulder. That twists your shoulders, and then alternately it twists your hips, gets you spinning round. But once you've started the spin, you stop looking and you start looking to where you've come from. And what you need to do is spot your landing. That'll give you a little bit more spin. It will keep you spinning round and you'll ride out of it. The landing point's great. You don't necessarily need any more, but you probably will get a bit more if you keep that look going to where you want to go. So don't get distracted by the ramp you've just come out of. But great first effort. Can't wait to see what your next trick's going to be. Next video from Correct Me If I'm Wrong is from Mason Gallagher, and all he wants is more air. Right, let's take a look at what he's got. Well, he's coming in. Oh, he's got a GMBN shirt on. Everything's right. You're getting good air. You're getting good air. But if you want more air, then you know what you need to work on is the jump itself, not your jumping technique, the actual dirt that you're building. So take a look at the ramp. The one that you've got is a really short, more of a kicker ramp. You're gonna get a nice bit of height like you're getting and a little bit of distance. But if you really bring that ramp up into a much bigger size thing, you're at about 2 foot there. If you wanna go up to something like 4 feet and beyond, big long takeoff, you're gonna get lots of air. Obviously, you need a landing ramp that suits the takeoff. But that's where you need to go next. You need to start hitting some bigger jumps with bigger, longer takeoffs, and you're going to be having a lot of fun. Great, correct me if I'm wrongs. Great show, thanks for your questions. Keep them coming with the hashtag AskGMBN. You can leave them down in the comment section down below this very video, and also by email you can send them to ask@gmbn.com. If you want to subscribe to the channel, and why wouldn't you, get a brand new video every day of the week, click on the logo just here. If you click over here, you're going to see our POC factory tour, which was really cool. It's great to meet those guys. And over here, you can see our What is Dirt Jumping video, where you can learn lots of skills from Blake Bing Bong Sampson. Keep those questions coming. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, and I'll see you next time.